Hi everyone. So today what I really want to go through is talking a little bit about finding your motivation and finding out what kind of stops you from getting the things done that you want done, from leading the lifestyle that you want to lead. And one of the things I find helpful to visualize what I want and the challenges that are stopping me is to write it down. So in this case, what we're going to do is go through and list, when it comes to your health and my health and fitness, I list my motivations. Why do I want to change things? And I believe that this is important, as when you reach those points when you're feeling really low and you're sick of the amount of effort that you're putting in, or you're really tired and you don't want to go for another 20-minute walk, you don't want to go to the gym, or you just really want to eat that brownie. Reminding yourself of these motivations, I think, can be really helpful. Now, I don't want to pretend it's easy, because it's definitely not, but it gets somewhat easier as time goes on, as your old habits start to disappear and these new ones start to grow solid, and it's worth it, really. But that's a different conversation we'll have another day. Right now, what I want to start with is writing down a list of what our motivations are, and then coupling that with what we think the challenges are that are stopping us from achieving what we want to achieve. And then the hope is that if we can pinpoint them and we can identify them, then that helps those things, those challenges, lose some of that power that they have over us. So, motivations, and we'll put challenges on the other side. So just, very, very simple. So we'll start with motivations. Why do you want to become healthier, or why do you want to be a healthier person? One of the reasons might be that you want to be a positive role model. And that's fair enough. You want to be a positive role model to your friends, to your family. One of the reasons may be because you're recovering from ill health, or you're recovering from an injury, and you want to get back to being fit, or maybe it's helped you realize that you wanted to be fit in the first place. You want to figure out how to work around that injury that you're facing to continue and become healthier in your life. Maybe it's just you want to lead an active lifestyle in general and just remain active as you age. I remember simply wanting to be able to walk upstairs and not run out of breath, or be able to run to a bus stop and when I saw the bus coming and not feel like it was a real struggle that I had to take time to recover from. I want to be capable and independent when I'm well into my 80s, well into my 90s, because I know it's possible. So why can't it be possible for me? Maybe you've got an event. Maybe it's some kind of fun run or obstacle course, the mud runs, Tough Mudders, Spartan races. They're all kind of the rage right now, and why not? They're a lot of fun. So, maybe you've got an obstacle race that you want to get healthier for, that you want to get fitter for, because it all, flows on and helps in those different aspects of your life when you lead a healthier lifestyle for yourself. So it can help make those types of events much more achievable and easy. Maybe you just simply don't want to be unhealthy anymore. Maybe you're just sick of being inactive, of being overweight, of having those negative feelings and experiences that come with leading an unhealthy lifestyle. This was probably the biggest motivator for me personally. I wanted to be a positive role model to any children I might have, but bigger than that, I just didn't want to be overweight anymore. I was pushing well over 120 kilos, and I was tired all the time from an unhealthy lifestyle. I was, sick because I essentially only ate bad food, comfort eating, self-medicating with sugar, essentially. No self-control to speak of. I was obese. I struggled to find clothes that fit. Every shopping trip was a nightmare, and so much fear that my one trusty pair of jeans was gonna die, and I'd have to go and walk in and out of several different shops, defeated and disheartened, because I couldn't find anything that fit. I walked upstairs and needed a moment to catch my breath. And I hated that. I remember growing up, running around on a farm, chasing chickens, playing with dogs, and then all the sports I played whilst I was a teenager and at school, and how active I was then, how, well I ate then, and I wanted that back. I wanted to be able to run at a second's notice, to lift myself up if I fell down and not have a problem with it, to nourish my body instead of punishing it with, foods that it struggles to cope with in reality. I wanted a healthier me, but there were challenges. And I know there will be challenges to you. Maybe there are challenges already that, you believe are stopping you from getting started. So on the other side of this page, I like to list what it is I think is holding me back from what I want. And that's something that, I really encourage you to try. So one of the most difficult things that I found that challenged me in my beginning was having never really been active as an adult. So if you've never really been active before, it can make it difficult to get started, You don't know where to start. And that's completely understandable. There is a wealth of information, of opinions, of ideas out there, and it's difficult to figure out what to do, what's right, what works, what's good for me. And it can be incredibly intimidating. It can be really hard to the point where it's just so overwhelming that you don't know where to start, and so it just becomes too hard to start. And that's one of the things that, if you can identify it and you can find somebody that you trust to give you some advice or to give you some, information or point you in a direction that they think might be helpful, and you're willing to try it out for a little while and see how it goes for you, then I think that can really be a good step in helping you get over that initial challenge. But speaking of intimidating, perhaps you're intimidated or lack the confidence to work out in public, so maybe the idea of working out is intimidating, going out in public and having people see you, trying, as I do, to struggle with a push-up or a pull-up at the shared workout facilities at the local park. Maybe you're too intimidated to go into a gym because there's so many fit bodies in there, but everybody starts somewhere. They weren't born like that. And it's not important what other people think, really. It's more important about what you want and what you need. And so this challenge is a big one. And maybe you don't want to try a park run or something like that because you don't see yourself as active or fit. And your mindset, I'll put that down as well. Your mindset can be one of your biggest challenges. Whatever you think that you can't do, you won't be able to do. So I can't stress how much of what you're capable of achieving comes from whether or not you think you can do it. And you've really got to back yourself, You've got to be your number one backer. Another challenge may be that you're afraid of failing. I know I've had that in the past, and I'm sure I'll cover it in an upcoming video. And it's not unusual to be afraid. Maybe you don't have self-control. That's a classic. That it's hard with the world that we live in and how accessible all of these not great foods are, and just the lifestyle and stuff. It's hard. I know I sure didn't, and even now there are things that I find incredibly difficult to resist. But practice makes not perfect, but it makes it easier. And reminding yourself of these motivators really helps as well. Another huge challenge is, how do you make time? Where do you find the time? Exercising regularly and preparing fresh, healthy meals sounds great, but when can you magic up that time to fit it into your already chock-full day? And I know here that, the challenges kind of outweigh the number of motivators that we have, but importantly, I think it's it's not so much about how many challenges we have, but our attitude towards them and whether or not we think that we can overcome them to follow our motivators, to follow our motivations to get that lifestyle that we want. So in a couple of the following videos, I want to elaborate on the strategies that I've found that work for me to overcome some of these challenges and how those challenges have changed over time, because they do change. They're never the same. They do change. And no matter how intimidating I found it that first time I went to the gym, the first time that I tried a, obstacle race, even though I'd been going to the gym for months and I felt fit and ready, when I first got to that obstacle race, the first one, again, I felt like I was back at that gym the very first day I went in. I was incredibly intimidated by the people around me. So, the challenges change, but if we're able to identify them, we can take some of their strength away, and we can, even use them to build ourselves up a bit more. To bring this video to a close, I want to reflect on one thing that I think underpins everything about your health journey, and that's you have to want it. In the end, this comes down to you. So I can share everything that's worked for me. I went from over 120 kilos to 69, 70 now, but you can get the gym membership. You can sign up for the regular fresh veggie box to be delivered, so that you can have that fresh healthy food. You can get yourself that new workout outfit so that you feel good and sassy in the gym. And you can write out, a beautiful calendar, with gorgeous fonts and colors because, I like pens and I like nice little written things. But unless you want it, you really want it, none of this is going to help. Thanks for listening, everyone. And I guess until next week, how much do you want it?